Thanks for your time this morning. So I understand that there was a warrant of arrest calling on Mr. Fadiel Adams to present himself at his nearest police station, but that did not happen.
Well, absolutely. A very good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. You will recall that Mr. Sindiso Magaqa was murdered in 2017, and only in 2018 did we start seeing movement on the case following the deployment of the political killings task team to the case, where it was established, and they then took over the case. They started then making linkages in terms of ballistics, in terms of the firearm that was seized from a suspect who was arrested on another case of cash in transit heist. That's when they made the link that the suspect that was arrested on another case was then linked to the murder of Mr. Sindiso Magaqa. So the case is still ongoing. We are still investigating it. There are still outstanding suspects. You will recall that the political killings task team had identified about 5 suspects that are linked to the case. But through investigations, we are seeing that there are more suspects that are yet to be arrested and yet to be linked to this particular case. We only have one convicted person, who is the Hitman, who was sentenced to 85 years imprisonment. We've got one suspect, who the former mayor of Mzimkhulu, who committed suicide. We've got another accused, the former municipal manager, who is still in custody. His bail was denied. We've got other people out on bail. And like I've indicated, we've got others that we are still linking to the case. So it is at a very sensitive and advanced stage. So through investigation, we then learned that Mr. Fadiel Adams went to go and visit the convicted and sentenced hitman on this particular case, where he took down statements. So while investigating, it then comes to our attention that he was there together with other people, where he took down the statement of this hitman. So the question is, in what capacity was Mr. Fadiel Adams visiting the convicted hitman? What type of information was he sourcing from that particular hitman? And that is when we presented the docket before the DPP of KZN, and saw that he then saw that there is a case to answer by Mr. Fadiel Adams, because his actions constitute a charge of defeating and obstructing the course of justice, as well as fraud, because Mr. Fadiel Adams is well aware that the political killings task team is investigating this particular case, and the case is still ongoing. The investigations are still ongoing. So in what capacity and what was the motive of him going there? And knowing that very well that he is not an investigator, he is not a member of the SAPS, nor is he a member of the DPCI, on what grounds was he visiting that particular hitman?
Yeah, so when did this visit take place? Was it before this person was convicted? I know that there are certain details that perhaps you can't reveal to us, but was it before the conviction of this hitman that Fadiel Adams would have visited this person, taken down a statement?
So according to our investigation, it was before the hitman was convicted. He visited him about 3 times between November 2024 and January 2025. You will recall that the hitman was sentenced on the 7th of July in 2025. So the case at that time against the hitman was at a very advanced and sensitive stage. And by then, police had already linked the firearm that was found in his possession in a cash in transit heist matter. They had already linked it to the murder of Mr. Sindiso Magaqa. And they had also linked other evidence and they had looked at other overwhelming evidence to link that particular hitman to the crime scene of Mr. Sindiso Magaqa.
Brigadier, if you say that there was a visit that took place, not one, but three visits between 2024 and 2025, and that really is the basis for police now wanting Fadiel Adams to hand himself over. When those visits started, there was no conversation had with Fadiel Adams, or did police and investigators only come to know about it after the fact?
Well, Michelle, those details, I think they will come out in court. But for now, this is an opportunity for Mr. Fadiel Adams to explain himself before court as to what were the purpose of his visits, and what type of information was he sourcing from that particular hitman. Like I indicated, Mr. Fadiel Adams is well aware that the Political Killings Task Team has been investigating this particular case since 2018. They had already linked about 5 suspects to this particular case. And he knew that this was the hitman. This was the person who was ordered to kill Mr. Sindiso Magaqa. And he knew at that time that we had overwhelming evidence that was linking that particular hitman to the crime scene. So I think it's an opportunity now for Mr. Fadiel Adams to really explain before a court of law what were the reasons of his visit and him taking down a statement, because he is not a detective, he is not a police officer, and he knows that there is a team, a dedicated team that is working tirelessly on this case. A lot of resources have been spent on this particular case to ensure that there was a breakthrough in the Sindiso Magaqa case.
So there was this agreement that he would hand himself over at the Cape Town Central Police Station. That agreement was made with his attorney. That handing over was meant to happen yesterday, as I understand it, Brigadier. But as it stands, there is now a warrant of arrest out for Fadiel Adams on charges including defeating the ends of justice.
So the warrant of arrest was issued last week already, and hence the operations at the multiple addresses where the police were searching Mr. Fadiel Adams, and that was before the press briefing that took place on Sunday. Our members were also there in Parliament, but due to certain restrictions, they couldn't then get access to Mr. Fadiel Adams. They then turned to his lawyers to engage his lawyers to try and get himself, to hand himself over to the Cape Town Central Police Station. At the time, the lawyers agreed that he would hand himself over on Monday at 9 o'clock, and up until now, he has not handed himself over to the police. So we do confirm that we are in possession of a J50 warrant of arrest. That the charges are fraud, defeating and obstructing the course of justice into the murder case